There is something revealing about the way many Gen Xers think about tattoos. For them, staying unmarked is not always emptiness. It can mean restraint, privacy, independence, or the refusal to follow a crowd, just because the crowd calls it self-expression. The deeper idea is simple. Many of them feel their scars already tell the story. They look at their hands, old injuries, work history, family pressure, unpaid bills, and years of responsibility, then quietly think, life already marked me enough. This is not really about ink. It is about a generation that often learned to carry proof without turning it into display. To understand that reaction, you have to remember the world Gen X grew up in. Tattoos were not always treated like normal decoration. In the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, many kids connected them with sailors, soldiers, bikers, prison, rough jobs, rock clubs, or people who lived outside polite rules. That did not make every tattoo bad, but it made the choice feel heavier. Back then, ink was not always seen as a lifestyle product. It could carry risk, stigma, identity, or a message you could not easily take back. Today, the culture is different. Pew Research Center reported that 32% of U.S. adults have at least one tattoo, and a large majority say society has become more accepting of tattoos in recent decades. Gen X watched ink move from edge culture into everyday life. Once it became common, their instinct was not excitement. It was suspicion. The strongest reason was never pain. Gen X was not built around avoiding discomfort. This is the generation that played outside until the streetlights came on, crashed bikes, got cut, got bruised, worked early, solved problems alone, and often heard some version of walk it off. The needle was not the real obstacle. Permanence was. A tattoo takes one version of you and locks it onto the body. That is where many Gen Xers hesitate. A design may feel powerful at 22, then strange at 45. A band can age badly. A relationship can end. A belief can change. A symbol that once felt deep may later feel like a costume from an old version of yourself. That is why this generation often thinks in longer timelines. The question is not, do I like this today? The real question is, for a mind trained to expect consequences, that question is enough to stop the whole decision. There is a sharper layer under that decision. Many Gen Xers did not avoid tattoos because tattoos seemed too rebellious. They avoided them because tattoos stopped feeling rebellious. When one person gets ink to look different, it can seem bold. Once everyone starts doing it, the same act begins to look like another uniform. That shift matters. Gen X has always had a strong reaction to group behavior. They grew up around warnings like, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? For some, that sentence became a lifelong filter. When the group moves one way, they pause. When a trend gets too popular, they step back. Their refusal is not always loud. It can look like doing nothing. No sleeve, no symbol, no announcement, no performance. In a culture where everyone keeps trying to display uniqueness, Gen X can become unique by refusing to perform it at all. There is also a private reason people miss. Many Gen Xers do not enjoy explaining themselves on demand. A tattoo can invite the same questions for years. What does it mean? When did you get it? Why that symbol? Is there a story behind it? Some people welcome that attention. Others feel as if strangers are being handed a key to a room they never meant to open. This is especially true for people who value privacy more than presentation. To this mindset, the body is not a billboard. It is not a resume. It is not a screen where the world gets to read every chapter. If something is personal enough, it may not need to be printed on skin. Sometimes keeping the story inside feels more honest than turning it into a talking point. That is why the word scars matters so much. A tattoo is chosen. A scar is lived. This difference carries emotional weight. A tattoo can be planned, priced, placed, photographed, covered, or explained. A scar usually comes from contact with reality. It may come from work, childhood, a crash, a fight, a tool, a fall, surgery, a dog bite, a farm fence, a bad decision, or one ordinary day that left a mark. For many Gen Xers, those marks feel closer to truth because they were not designed to look meaningful. They became meaningful because something happened first. A scar does not ask for sympathy. It does not decorate pain. It does not try to prove toughness. It simply says, life happened, the body remembers, and the person kept moving. That is why scars can feel more honest to this generation. They were earned without branding. They were carried without explanation. They became proof without needing permission from anyone else. Practical thinking also shaped the choice. A lot of Gen Xers ask whether something makes sense before they ask whether it looks cool. That mindset comes from years of choosing bills before pleasure, responsibility before image, and function before display. A tattoo may be meaningful to someone else, but to a practical Gen X mind, the question can be very direct. What does this actually do for me? If the answer is unclear, the decision becomes easy. No ink means no cost, no regret, no maintenance, and no future appointment to erase a younger self. Removal makes that logic stronger. AP reported that laser tattoo removal can take 8 to 12 treatments or more, and the process is often longer, pricier, and more painful than getting the tattoo in the first place. That fact fits the Gen X warning system perfectly. The choice may be fast, but the correction can be slow. Still, this is not about attacking people with tattoos. Many tattoos come from real meaning. Military service, a lost parent, a child, a friend, a private victory, or a memory someone truly wants to carry. Pew found that among tattooed Americans, the most common reason is to honor or remember someone or something. That deserves respect. The deeper question is not whether ink is good or bad. It is whether the mark comes from truth or pressure. Many Gen Xers looked at that question and chose silence. No design felt strong enough. No trend felt convincing enough. No outside symbol felt more honest than the life they had already lived. So when Gen X chose scars over tattoos, it was not always because they hated ink. Often, they simply did not need one more permanent thing attached to them. Their blank skin was not a lack of story. It was a refusal to turn the story into a product. In a world where people keep trying to show who they are, Gen X often trusts what does not need to be shown. Tattoos are chosen to say something. Scars do not ask to speak, but they still tell the truth. Maybe that is why this subject hits so deeply. The marks that matter most are not always the ones people can see. Are you Gen X with no tattoos? Or do you have one that still means something to you?